Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another edition of ILFL Soccer Nights. We'll be discussing all footballing matters that took place yesterday on a Sunday, all footballing matters that took place on the Vets League, and all the cup finals that are coming in the forthcoming weeks. In the first segments, we'll discuss the three finals we're looking forward to in the next 2 weeks. And obviously the main thing we're going to do in the second segment is the Vets League Cup draw. Now, I know a lot of people have been texting, phoning, when is the draw? Draw will be done in second segments, and we'll go through all the information when we do the draw in the second segments. Let's kick off with the one of the finals that's going to take place, which is on the 2nd of April at 12 p.m. midday at Mile Stadium. Now, that's the Interleague Champions Cup, and with that in mind, I'm going to get my first guest, Jermaine from Hackney Leighton. He's been with us for a number of years. Welcome to the show, Jermaine.
Thank you very much.
Now, obviously, first of all, congratulations, both finalists from your league, Hackney Leighton. That says something. It's one of the competitions for me. I think it's a prestigious tournament, champions of champions, so it's a great feeling to have both teams from Hackney Leighton.
Yeah, and both teams, you know, they watch your show every week, to be honest with you. And it's going to be a great pairing between these two, because these two have a very good history. As you know, they're not trouble teams, and they're just there to play football, which is a credit to the two teams. You know, Shakespeare's been getting the better of Milan of late. I think they don't need him to beat them.
I was going to say that, you know, how are the two teams in terms of preparation, or how are they doing the league itself, or are they talking about it? I know, because a couple of years back, I know when London Meteors, they were really, you know, training and looking forward to it. Have you got the same feeling? Is the same discussion taking place?
It is the same kind of feeling, and what's special between Shakespeare and Milan is a lot of the players play in another team on a Saturday called Hamlets FC.
Okay.
So there's Shakespeare players and Milan players that play for Hamlets FC on a Saturday. So there's a lot of banter, good banter between the two sets of players that are obviously playing for Shakespeare and Milan, and it's all good-natured, and they're looking forward to it, and they actually hoped that they would get to the final, so this would happen. So it is all good-natured banter, and I'm sure it would be a good final. So I don't want no 0-0, guys. Yeah. All right.
I saw one of the semi-finals. I saw, obviously we had two teams, both Ace and Bromley in the semi-final, but obviously they lost to your teams. I saw Milan in action. I actually saw them even last year. They look quite strong. Are they the favourites, or would you say otherwise? Because I've seen Shakespeare on a couple of occasions, but not recently. I didn't see the semi-final. So who going into the finals looks to have the upper hand, so to speak?
I think probably Milan will be the favourites, and I'm sure Shakespeare don't mind that at all. They've been very strong this year, Milan, and even though there's games they've been 4-1 down, they've scored 3 goals in the last 10 minutes to draw games, and I think they probably might be the slight favourites, but Shakespeare know how to beat Milan. They've just got this thing about playing Milan.
Both teams?
I think Milan's, I think they're second in the league, and I think Shakespeare's about 4th with a couple of games in hand. So they're both doing quite well, to be honest with you. Very well.
And they're both looking to play at Mile Stadium itself?
Yeah, they're both looking forward to it. As soon as they both won their game, the first thing they said is, when's the final, when's it going to be? And, you know, Mile Stadium is looking forward to that. You know, it's nice to be playing in the stadium.
I was going to ask you another question, obviously, because the feedback I get from the ILFL teams, also from the Musical League teams, is that in the recent years, this competition has given them a bit of a motivation, a drive, because you're playing against different teams. Do you get the similar feedbacks from your teams in terms of how they enjoy, or what is their perception of this competition, the Champions of Champions? I
think what it is, it's a break from the norm. You know, it's something different. They enjoy doing it. They love the setup. They love being on the show. They love playing against other teams, and I think also as well, not just other teams outside the Hackney Leighton that have strengthened to play against our teams, but some of our teams actually got beat quite well by some of the ILFL teams this season. And I think it's a learning experience to everybody, and what's needed to participate in this lovely tournament. Shakespeare know it, Milan know it, the other teams that were new to it, you know, it was probably a bit of a shock for them.
I think that's the key thing. I think it's refreshing, it's challenging, and it's the unknown, and I think that a lot of the teams find it refreshing because you're used to playing the same team week in, week out every year to play against. And I think that idea is brilliant because the feedback I get from our team is like, they can't wait till next year to qualify because for us, you have to win the league or a cup to qualify and you're the 4 teams to represent in the champions. And for me, it's a bragging right to say you're not just champion of your own league within the 4 league itself. It's brilliant. Nano, if I can get your thoughts onto this, Milan versus Shakespeare. Now, have you seen it in the games or do you know who's got the upper hand?
I've seen Milan play on a couple of occasions before, and although a couple of years ago they didn't fare very well against Stepney on that particular occasion.
That was the semi-final, I remember
that semi-final, and it was a really sort of tough game because Stepney were full strength and they somehow managed to bring the game under their control, and whereas Milan were playing a completely different type of game and they couldn't get the ball on the feet. So on that occasion they didn't do very well, but I saw something in them. You know, it's one of them things that you really see in teams, that the passion is there, they've got the right level of structure, all of the players are really up for it, and they seemed very determined to win. Although they didn't win on that occasion, they were really determined to win, and they came for a win as well.
Because I think this season there was more focus and the drive was there because they didn't want to lose in the semi-final.
Oh yeah, the results are completely different. And what I'm hearing is that they've got different players as well. Some of the older players have kind of sort of moved on and they brought in some of the new players, and you know, looking at results such as, you know, winning against the opposition like by 7-0, you know, it says a lot. So yeah, it will be really interesting if anything.
Ajmal, if I can get into this, obviously 2 teams in the final from Hackney Leighton League. What is that saying? They're too strong because there's no one from Musical or Barnet or from ILFL itself.
Well, I was just talking to Jermaine before the air in terms of they've got 60 teams, so they've got a big league as well compared to, you know, the ILFL. So that could, you know, take into consideration as well. In terms of bigger league or better teams, I think that's really hard to say because it's cup games and, you know, it's a one-off days, sort of like getting to the actual finals. So it's very tough. Anyone could win on their day. So it's just a great atmosphere to actually have that kind of opportunity to play in different leagues and interrelate with other leagues and divisions. So yeah, no, I think it's on their day really, but well done to them.
For me, it's also a challenging for other teams to look at. Well, there's a set benchmark to, you know, achieve. You know, you have to beat teams like Milan, teams like Shakespeare to get to finals or win, so that you have a bragging rights. I think it's a challenging aspect.
I mean, you touched on it before, and I was saying a few shows ago, it's like the Champions League, being the champion of a champion. That is the most prestigious cup you could actually get. So the bragging rights is massive and it's enormous. You know, to actually be able to actually say, you know, you're the champions of the whole region, it's massive.
Coming back to again, Jermaine, if you had to put your money on, who are you putting your money on? Shakespeare or Milan? Because for me, I think, from what I've seen, I would say 60% towards Milan. But you're the expert. You're from Hackney Leighton. It's your league. You should have more insight. Where's the money going on?
Well, my ears are burning. That's for starters. Looking at the performances in this competition, I would have to probably say Milan's performances has been quite outstanding from the get-go. They beat the current holders in the first game quite convincingly. They do get stronger as the game goes on, and they've been actually an absolute joy to watch. But again, Shakespeare, you know, you just can't write them off. But I do feel Milan's performance in this tournament has been outstanding.
So Milan is your tip? Or you're on the bench?
My ears are burning. I'm not going to say anything there.
Good luck to both Milan and Shakespeare. Credit to both teams getting to the final. The final itself is going to be at Milan Stadium. It's going to kick off at 12 p.m. midday. So if you're free, you want to see a clash of 2 brilliant sides, come to Milan Stadium. It's a free entry for all people. So it's 2nd of April at 12 p.m. The Interleague Champions Cup, the Champions of Champions, will take place at Milan Stadium. If we can come back to our results for my Premiership, if I can show the slide on the screen, can I have the results there? The Premiership results: Ace winning 4-0 against Stepney. Bromley, a unusual result, losing 4-3 to St Catherine's. Didn't see that on the cards. And Hawk and Eagle losing 3-2 to Beaumont. So obviously, if you can look at the league table itself, now if I can just bring you again, both teams, Ace and Beaumont, winning the games, points, 34 points each. In 2 weeks' time, they actually play each other. Do you think that is the deciding game?
It's got to be. Not unless, we'll see what happens this weekend anyway. But, you know, Ace with the upper hand.
Actually, this Sunday, they're not playing because obviously we've got League Cup final, so there's a week off. But it's 2 weeks' time, obviously, they might face each other. and Beaumont and Ace have to play each other. I think that could be the deciding factor for the championship itself.
It really could be. But you know, from what I can see, it seems like Ace probably have this slight edge over sort of Beaumont. If you look at the number of goals that they've scored, like 50 goals throughout the season against 35 for 39 for Beaumont. So they've been scoring a lot more goals, and they've been conceding a lot less goals as well at the same time.
Yeah.
So you could say Ace, like I say, Ace is like the new Stepney. They play like Stepney, what that way Stepney used to play a few seasons ago, and they like to keep possession, they like to control the game, they like to keep you on the feet, small movement, pass and go, and they've got one or two sort of outstanding players at the same time, and you know, you need one or two outstanding players.
Do you think the nerves will come in, because obviously Ace always been, so to speak, always the bridesmaid, never the brides, as they say. They've been so close on so many occasions, never managed to get to obviously the cup or destination, because in the league they came runners up, in the cup they came runners up. Could the pressure be too much?
I don't think it would be any different for Beaumont as well, because although they've been quite successful in some of the cup games, but in this competition in the league, they haven't come this far for, you know, I can't remember in recent memory. So they're in the same boat as well. So both teams will be feeling the pressure, if anything, and the best team has to win, and I've got my money on Ace. I have to say, I like the way they play, and I know Beaumont have got really fantastic players, you know, they've got brilliant players, you know, but I think Ace has probably got the slight edge over Beaumont for some reason.
Especially the game in hand as well. Can we get to Ajmal as well? Obviously, the result, St. Catherine's versus Bromley, didn't help your cause, because if I'm looking at the bottom, obviously we know London Tigers are relegated. It's between Hawke and Eagle and St. Catherine's. Now, you didn't see the result coming. Now it's one game for both teams. And you know, you need to get at least a point.
We need a point. We need a point badly now. We were hoping actually, who did Bromley to do us a favour, but you know, we just needed a draw for us to actually survive. But now it is actually the last game, down to the last game, down to the wire, which is, you know, going to be quite nerve-wracking. But going back to Ace, I was speaking to the Ace manager on Sunday. And they had a little dip as well, because they lost against, even though they lost against Robin Hood Tigers, they won the game, and then they lost in the cup game. So he was telling me that they did have a small dip, losing their centre back, and for them to actually come back and win on Sunday, it looks like they're actually out of that dip. I think a lot of people want Ace to win because they're like the people's choice, because they haven't won it, always getting close, as you were saying. So I think
a bit like Leicester last season.
Exactly, I think a lot of people do want them to win it in terms of that. So I really do. I mean, I went for reach out originally, but Ace, I think, might just tip them now. So
I think we all said reach out because the way they started, but I know they had a couple of games they missed out on, and that kind of affected it. Jim, obviously, I know you look at the later league, but you see a lot of the ILFL games.
I've watched a lot of ILFL games.
A couple of weeks ago, all 4 teams had the potential to go for the title. Obviously, now it's come to 2 teams. You've seen a couple of games of Beaumont. You've seen Ace. Who would you say has the, you know, advantage or the upper hand of clinching the title, because it's really close neck and neck?
I think the worst case scenario for Beaumont was, I think, you know, they've got, I wouldn't be surprised if they do beat Ace, but even if they do and Ace win their last game, the goal difference is just too much, I think. So I think Ace will, it's there for them to win. And
the other game actually Ace got is against Bromley, and Bromley in the recent weeks have been quite strong. They're in the cup final. In the recent weeks they've added new players. It's not an easy game for Ace to say, you know what, we don't mind losing to Beaumont, we'll win the game against Bromley and league's ours, because that game itself is a banana skin, so to speak. You know, Bromley are really strong now, especially at this end of the season, especially they've got a cup final. They're doing well. I know they played against Shakespeare. They lost 3-1, but they had a really good game. Yeah,
that game there actually, Bromley played. I thought they was outstanding that game. To be honest with you, they played very, very good football, passing and moving. It's the kind of team you want in your league, playing that football week in, week out. And I'm quite surprised.
They had a bad start to the season. I think Hamid may manage to, after week 7 or 8, add depth of players and quality of players, and hence they've picked up. And hence why they're in the cup final this week. And they've been an established team. It's a massive club at the end of the day. They've been established for 25 years, so it's not a small team.
I do hope Beaumont it goes to the last day. I hope that's how it goes.
We'll see what happens anyway. So there you have it. Good luck to both Ace and Beaumont. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, there's no fixtures. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to discuss more about the Vets League and the Vets League Cup draw. So don't go away, stay with us. We'll see you in a minute.